You know, sometimes you've got to do things regardless or despite the things that are going on around you. And boy, have we had some doozies, which I'll share with you in this very short blog. So this video, we're going to talk about, and I'm going to show you the what I do to get my head around challenges and interruptions, the persistent interruptions, to get my art done. A lot of people say, gee, you're so prolific, but oh boy, do I have to fight for it. So I want to show you what happened yesterday in my studio, or to my studio, and share with you a few tips in the studio too. I've got out of bed and I haven't even been able to brush my hair. I've just thrown my clothes on because I was pretty determined to get into the studio this morning, despite all of the interruptions over the past week and despite the condition of my studio right now because of something that happened yesterday. So I have picked up a few things, but let me take you in there and show you what I'm talking about. It might encourage you. My reality might make you feel a bit better about your reality. Let's do a reality video today. I'm in my studio and this is what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the reality for a lot of artists, including myself, how hard we have to fight to bring the art out into the world. And few people see it. Few people see the battle. Can you hear that noise? That today is after a succession of attempts to get into my studio and numerous accounts, and one which I will show you, things that are happening now. I pushed and pushed and pushed through, and I told myself, I'm painting this morning. I'm painting this morning. Get the heater going, get in there regardless. If you lose half the heat through a broken wall, which I'll show you what's just happened. And now out the front, they are chainsawing. So if it's not chainsawing, it's the dog across the road. If it's not the dog across the road, it's other life's interruptions. It happens. So just yesterday, this easel came flying across the room and my paintings everywhere. This frame came down. I'm surprised this didn't break actually, because somebody accidentally put their car into first instead of reverse and came through the studio wall. So this is my studio wall is broken. The framing's broken in here. This is inside a garage, so you can imagine the garage door on the other side. It has come through and pushed everything about a foot in or so, and then kind of come back, but it's split and broken. The wall is split and broken all through there. It shunted all the shelving that was here, so all the shelving got moved across, and it's still across from the wall, you see. It's kept it out. The stuff got pushed forward, ended up on the floor. Not all of it, but a lot of it. A few things were broken. Nothing that I've found that's major. I checked my pan pastels. I checked the things that mattered the most, and we did have some brushes fall across a pastel, but that's okay. But yeah. Now I'm hoping actually that those trees, they cut them down, really actually cut them down. That would be really good, because I've got two massive big gum trees that drop limbs all the time. They're so close to our house that when it's really windy, we don't like sleeping in the bedroom. So I am hoping that noise is a blessing in disguise. So I'm hoping that's the case. But I wanted to make this video just to show you or if you're feeling like, how can those artists be just like quietly listening to their classical music in their studio all day, every day? It's not like that. For a lot of us, it's so not like that. We are looking for the gaps in our life and in our life situations to do the best we can to get in there as much as we can to do what we can. So, myself included. So here's a couple of tips that I use. May not apply to you, but we can think of these things. First thing I do, it's freezing cold here in Melbourne. So the first thing I do is I just get up, like I've just got up, I haven't brushed my hair even. And I get up, turn that heater on before I start, because if the cold's going to put me off, and it does, and I've got heating in here, if I get that heater going, I've got it going, and I'm not going to waste the power. So I'm going to get back in there in that room ASAP to get some stuff done. And I also tell myself doing anything is okay. I give myself permission to do anything. So I'll go into the studio with the mentality, even if I just clean up a bit, even if I reorganize something, even if I just start a pastel, even if I just prime a piece of canvas, anything. It doesn't really matter if I clean my pastels, anything. Once you start doing and you become more accustomed to being in your space, often it becomes your space. Also, for some of us, it takes a while to settle into any working space. It's like it's got to become familiar with you, or I don't know, a sanctuary, I think. For me, it's like it's a place that's got to become a sanctuary. So I will take time to settle into a place and know where everything needs to be, and I'm most comfortable to be at my easel, or if I'm sitting down. You find those places where you're comfortable and relaxed, or in that zone, and it takes time. So don't beat yourself up if you've moved into a new space and you're not kind of feeling it. It does take time to make it your own and to make it a place where you're happy to be in that cave for large amounts of time, and spend a good amount of your life in there. So that is one thing. My third tip is to organise as best as you can. If things are organised, you know where to find them. It's easy to find them, and you're not having to overthink that part of the creative journey. You can get on with the painting or the drawing. The other thing I'm learning is to allocate zones, even in my home. If you have things inside a room that doesn't belong in that room, it can be disruptive. So for instance, some people have to have an office in their bedroom, but if you don't have to have an office in the bedroom, it's not wise to have your office in your bedroom. It's very hard to switch off and go to bed when there's things around you, or you're used to working and being mind active in those spaces. So with a studio, it can be the same. If there's things in your studio that are reminding you to go do the washing or do other things other than be in your creative space, it's a good idea, if you can, to declutter them or remove them or put them in another zone or the zone they belong to. I think they might be taking that tree down. Oh, I so hope so. I think the tree's dying, but it is a real problem. Both of them are a real problem at the front. And my fifth tip is zones within zones. Just like that with that organisational tip, if you work in more than one medium, it's really a good idea to keep your zones within zones. So your pastels together, your oils together. You might have a mixed media setup that you like to be able to grab bits and pieces of all different things, and that's fine. But if you get very familiar where things belong and actively put them back after each session, or after completion at least of each piece, which is what I do more than session-wise, then for me, I am more inclined to get back to work. I'm more inclined to be willing to be in that space and not feel overwhelmed by all the stuff that I just, I'm going, where is that? I've come inside. It's too noisy. You can't hear me, I know. I've come inside to finish this off. So how are we going to deal with that damage? Good question. We are going to do the best we can. This has come at a really bad time for us. Not that there's been a good time for the past few years, but my husband's going to try and fix it himself, and one of our kids has offered to help if they can link up times, where both of them are not working. But it has to be done pretty quickly because we're about to get the wet weather, and I don't know if that's waterproof. So, yeah, but I'm reassessing my whole studio setup again, yet again, and thinking if we're going to be pulling that wall out or pulling it down and redoing it, which means I've got to take everything out of the studio. I think I will perhaps look at reworking the studio somehow so we can turn a difficult challenge into an advantage, because when these things happen to you, it's very easy to go, oh look, it's all too hard. And I did feel like that yesterday, but yeah, because it seems to be my studio space has been a place where I've really had to fight for it. And every time I get a studio space, it's something happens. So, as did, I just got a bigger studio, just got the place of my dreams, and the lockdown started. And then, of course, 2 years later, I've lost it again. So, I'm going to reassess this and think of any way, anyhow, that I can somehow turn that into a better situation. Because I like to look back at these challenges, go, you don't want them to happen, but they do. And when they happen, to look back and go, well, if it hadn't happened, I wouldn't have thought to do this, or we wouldn't have made the decision to do that, and therefore, in that we can be glad. So that's what I'm meditating on today. So how can we turn this situation that's going to be a challenge for us financially and time-wise, and interrupt projects that I had and that I'm just about to step into, and all of that, and turn it into a good thing. So, but that's what we do. That's what we do. If we want this bad enough, if we know we're meant to be doing it, or we want this bad enough, or a combination of the both, or whatever, we just push forward, don't we? So that's a little bit of a reality insight into my world. So a bit of an art vlog of where we're at present in my studio, or navigating my studio, and I hope you pick up a few tips. So if that was helpful for you, if you've got any questions, please leave it in the comment. It helps my channel, and I do need help getting my channel out there, being relatively new coming back onto it. We're nearly up there. We're almost hitting 1,000 subscribers. So I thank you to all the recent subscribers, and for all those who share it and appreciate the content. So it's pretty varied, the content, as far as, I don't have one way of filming, but I'm hope you're enjoying the things that I'm putting out there. Okay, bless you. Bye. So for now, we're saving for bollards, to put bollards in. And we'll have to take the tin off, just hammer it back into place the best as we can. It's not going to look great, but it's not going to look like it is. And the inside, we're just going to try to push the wall back into place for now. And it's just going to have to wait for another time. But the good news is 50% of our tree issues out the front is solved. One down, one to go.